We are charting the higher octave with my guest today. I've got the founder of Van Richter Records, Paul Richter, on the show. I'm so glad we were able to connect. Thank you for joining me, Paul. How are
Well,
you?
aloha. Greetings from smoggy Los Angeles.
Yeah, dark aloha to you. Anyway.
Mahalo.
Yeah, so it's such a pleasure to meet you. I know you had some history here in Hawaii, and that's great. You know, I always want to help promote Hawaii out there to the world, and you've been a big part of Hawaii since the early days of the music, the music scene here in the late 80s all the way to the 90s. So you lived here.
Well, I haven't lived there I lived there for a month when I was, shopping for a house, but I'm going to be living there, yeah, full time eventually when you know, retire, which hopefully soon. I got a
Yeah.
few more things to do, like a
Well,
movie and, a few more records to release.
well, it is definitely one of the best places to live because of the weather, right? I think it's like the best weather all year round, I think.
Well, I think the quality of life is what's this, but don't tell too many people. I don't want so many more people moving over there.
Well, it is expensive, but I mean, you can't go wrong with the view, the ocean view. Um,
You don't have to sell me. I've been a fan since '82. I've been coming there since '82.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm really excited to chat with you a little bit about your label, okay? Because it's been around, and I'm very familiar with it. I have some CDs going way back to Death and Heart, Girls on the Glass, and you heard my interview with
Yep.
with that. I love that band. I love that song in particular. There's a particular song I like from that Girls on the Glass, but and the Fair Sex as well, and you formed in 1993. I wanted you to talk a little bit about your label, how you started, and all that.
Sure. Well, I was always a diehard music fan. I came up in the post-punk scene out of San Diego. Um, I was DJing in college at KCR Radio, and I was a club DJ. And I booked bands and I managed bands, and then I worked for record labels, and then took like a year or two off in the early '90s, and then I saw an opportunity because there were a lot of like particularly German labels that like Zothamog that were looking for licensed partners to get their music over here in the States. Most of the stuff you couldn't get at Tower, couldn't get at Jellies, you'd have, or small indie stores. So, and they even put on like the record jackets looking for licensed partners. So, okay, I guess this is my opportunity to, so I went to Germany, I went to Popcom, I saw a lot of bands, and then I got a relationship with Rough Trade out of Germany, and so I signed my first artist, Testify, which was one of the couple of guys who used to be in the Fair Sex, and that was our biggest band because of the crossover. Ministry was pretty big at that time with like Psalm 69 and all that. So a lot of bands were coming out like that, and so they were kind of like Germany's answer to Ministry, and got him on some tours with Die Krups and Armageddon Dildos in Europe, and sadly nothing in the States. I mean, we came very close to getting him on the Downward Spiral tour with Resner, but they took Manson, and of course we know the rest is history there. That was when Manson was just starting out. So, any event, yeah. So that was the start. I saw that opportunity there. I was always a fan of industrial. Back even like I worked for Wax Trax, and I saw this great opportunity for a genre that really believed in, and I still believe in today, even though it's.
I know, yeah, there's such a great label. I have the albums, still Wax Tracks. I mean, that's like you never sell it; you just keep it forever. You know.
I
So
have all the I have all the vinyls here stashed away too.
you've always stood by, the saying, right? Quality over quantity. That's something it's one of your mission. Well, I mean, do you think now with so many labels releasing music constantly, do you find that it's harder to ever to maintain that philosophy, or you're still continuing to continue that?
Well, we were able to do that because back when there was a drastic shift in the industry after Napster came out in the 90s, and people were essentially not buying music anymore because they were either, stealing it, and then all these other things that came after Pirate Bay. And so the problem was people weren't buying music anymore. So we had to shift our business model so that we weren't just cranking out stuff like some of these other labels I don't want to mention, but we're able to shift more to a digital distribution model so that we could keep the quality up. And so we're getting revenue um, by distributing other labels or artists or whoever has masters, and we just take a distribution fee. So kind of shift to like Ryko's business model because they started out as a record label and then they became a big distributor. So we're able to, I didn't have to sell out the label or put out things I didn't believe in just to try to generate revenue. We just do that on the distribution side. So, we have thousands of SKUs. In fact, some of the bands, we do a lot of reissues on bands like Swamp Terrorists. I don't remember if you remember them, but we have
Mm.
their whole catalog is up on iTunes. So it's been a good, not only source of revenue, but a way to bring things back out that were never, on the internet because the internet wasn't around when those guys were out. So
Right, right.
we're able to do that. But yeah, we do try to keep that. And the problem is today anyone can release a record. I mean, you're on Instagram and you scroll down your feed and there's a million things out there and half of them are AI. And in fact, a lot of demos they get now are AI. So that's kind of disheartening. But yeah,
Mm.
that's the way that, we've been able to maintain the quality. And I wanted to, like in the early Wax Trax days, you buy something on Wax Trax, it's going to be good because, it's been curated, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of killed the label. They got too big and signed too much stuff that wasn't so good at the end of their run. But yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to keep it small and manageable and things, projects I believed in, not just trying to make a quick buck. But I've had people come to my office, tell me just release all these demos and to generate income, and we would never do that. So even back in the day when you had to be, scrambling and getting more physical product in the stores. But yeah, that's the issue today. There's just so much stuff that anyone can release. Anyone and their dog can make a record album. I mean, you go to, if you have the software, you don't even need Pro Tools or Cubase anymore. I guess they have other programs. Garage, I get stuff from GarageBand from artists that's in AI. That's, incredible. I ask them and it's not real. So that's the problem. I see the industry is shifting
Yeah.
in that direction. And I hope it doesn't hit the film business as fast because
No.
I'm trying to get a movie made.
I know we'll talk about that in just a few minutes, but with industrial music changing so rapidly, right, through the years, what do you miss most about that classic industrial era?
Well, believe it or not, I mean, the older technology. I mean, when I had
Mm.
Klaus from Plastic Noise Experience or Mick Young from Fair Sex to come here, they're over here in LA trying to buy up all this old analog equipment because you don't get the same sounds as you do. Just like vinyl doesn't
Mm.
sound as the same as the CD. I always miss the vinyl sound. You have much more depth in vinyl than a CD. So kind of back to the future, the old technology. That's what I miss because you can't recreate those sounds, on a
True.
computer. Yeah,
Very true. Yeah, I mean, even the new records now, the new records, like brand new compared to the old ones that you pick up from a used record store is completely different too.
yeah. And like I said, I noticed that, and I wasn't a big fan when we shifted to CDs to begin with, and I still have my old vinyl collection, and I'm going to set all that stuff up when I move over there and retire, so I can play all that stuff. That's because I don't have time, but I have boxes and boxes
Yeah.
of old vinyl from Wax Trax, TVT back in the day, old network stuff.
Yeah. Um, what makes a band stand out for you, like in the industrial genre?
Well, I try to find, um, I don't know, it's kind of an emotional thing, it's kind of an A&R thing, and just something. I try to find stuff that isn't outrageously obscure. I mean, it's nice to have something that's well produced and engineered,
Hmm.
but it just, I don't know, there's just certain bands grab my attention. Just like the first time I heard Plastic Noise Experience, Dream Destructor, I'm like, wow, that's incredible. So There's just some artists, there are Girls Under Glass or Trauma or even the Fair Sex, Not Now, Not Here. I mean, there's just certain bands that, and we're not trying to be like the most obscure experimental label. We're trying to have some kind of uh, commercial crossover, you know. So I try to find stuff that I think that might have some hooks or commercial appeal, but it's not necessarily driving force. But I just trying to find stuff that I guess is more accessible. You know, I'm not going to put a bunch of noise like Merzbow records, you know, that no one's going to ever listen to. But you know, but obviously there are artists I do respect, like Coil. In fact,
Oh yeah, yeah.
we've distributed a few of their titles, so it's yeah. So I try to find things that I don't know that fit with the moniker, the label, you know, that I'm what I'm trying to do. I mean, Testify definitely has, you know, that Ministry sound. I mean, they're great songwriters and musicians. I mean, a lot of these guys. I mean, every band I work with pretty much has their own home studio, you know, and
Hmm.
some of them invented their own MIDI gear. So I mean, these guys, especially in Europe, they're that's why I signed most of the European bands because they seem more advanced than what's going on in the States. I mean, there's a few guys who do it, but you know, like Skinny Puppy, but you know, or Ministry, but most of them, you know, don't have the kind of engineering, you know, technology that these guys do. And so I don't know, it's kind of multiple things. And I just have to believe in something that has to grab me. I don't know emotionally. I mean, when I'm listening to something,
Hmm.
it's kind
Yeah.
of an A&R thing. So
Yeah, I'm the same way. You know, when you first heard a particular new song, it just something, something, something triggers it, right? So I
yeah,
totally get it. I mean, there's a lot of good music out there, but there's something that you like something better than you like something else. It's just something that triggers it, right? So
yeah. Like I said,
you've been running the Van Richter label for like what is it like over 30 years, right? Is that over
yeah,
30 years? Yeah.
30,
So
33 years. Yep.
yeah. And so, what do you think keeps you motivated to continue with the label?
I don't know. It's become kind of my identity after a while. I mean, and also
Your love
kind
for
of a
music,
yeah,
your love for
exactly. It's kind
industrial.
of my
Yeah.
passion, and you know, it's
Mhm.
kind of takes over your identity, you know, after a while. So, and I mean, there's so many labels that have gone by the wayside. I feel like we're
I
carrying
know.
the
Yeah.
boards. I mean, look at all the labels that went under Fifth
I
Column,
know.
Reconstriction, you know, Zothamog. I mean, there's some KK Records. I can go down the list. TVT, Wax Tracks. I mean, so many labels that, and there's just a very few of us left. So I kind of feel privileged in that way, even though the newer generations don't seem to know about us. So, and that's why we have marketing interns that, you know, we try to get to promote us on social media. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just something I believe in, and I've always had a passion for music, and
Mhm.
that's kind of what I feel I was put here to do. You know, when I you
Yeah,
know, so
I totally understand. Now you have a diversified roster, right, of these bands. Do you want to talk just briefly about each one, just to give a big shout out to them? Because I think they deserve it, honestly.
yeah, well, I think so too. I wish we got more. I wish we got more love. That'll be just a why being around the world. But in any event, you know, like Testify, like I said, we it was our first signing. We got them through Rough Trade. You know, they were getting built up. It was a couple of guys who were in the fair sex, and they were trying to make a, you know, kind of get on the Ministry bandwagon, but they kind of have their own unique sound. And like I said, we got them on tours with Dead Krups and Armageddon Dildos. Never got them to the States, but that was our biggest seller because of the crossover to the metal kids. So got them on a lot of press for them. Got them on tower listening stations nationally. Sold really well, and still our best seller to date. It's a very underrated band. We got them in the studio with Adam Grossman from Screw. I don't know if he was also in Ministry for a while. So we flew him to Europe to produce one of their albums. So you know, we've had you know Die Krupps do remixes, so we've definitely, you know, we pushed them pretty hard, and yeah, I mean, they were a great band that just didn't get, you know, get the exposure that they really deserve. But they still have fans, and you know, maybe someday more people discover them. And then the Fair Sex, they were already kind of big in Europe, and they
Yeah.
were breaking through with Not Now, Not Here. So we got them at that time when they were really kind of at the peak of their game in Europe, and so there has been more of that dark electro. They were probably one of the first like electro bands to use guitars. So and their kind of electro approach, more kind of I always consider more of like a commercial, more accessible version of Skinny Puppy. So then we have Plastic Noise Experience, which is was two guys, and I think they're like kind of pure EBM and great dance club tracks. We got them through KK originally. I mean, just phenomenal uh, dance songs, really good EBM, great programming. And then Seal Wolf, which is probably our most least accessible band as far as more on the experimental noise side. They were like discovered by someone who had also worked with Neubauten, so more on the experimental noise side, but great people. They've come here a few times. They're from Frankfurt, so they have their niche following. But people who like Godflesh or whatever, they're the ones who are against Seal Wolf. So, and then DHI, kind of like a
Yeah.
frontline.
And like I
Got
said,
their own.
I still have that CD.
Well, they put out a couple CDs. I don't know which one you have. You have Bitter Alloys, Pressures Collide, or Transmissions from the Chemical.
Transmission. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great record too.
Hmm.
Yeah, and yeah, they were a great band. They were like frontline. They did a lot of tours up in Canada, and I think they played out with the Young Gods and a few other bands. So they had some great music videos too. Actually, the guy who produced their music videos produced the Birthday Massacre. I'm sure you know who they are. So
Yes.
and yeah, and then Girls Under Glass, which obviously you know about because you've interviewed Volker. So we,
Yes.
we actually have, well, most of the titles that we have are when Hawk was in the band and more on the synth driven side, and yeah, we put out pretty much all their American releases except for the last one that went to Metropolis. So and yeah, and then we did their side project, which is Trauma, which actually was the first thing I heard, which because it came through Machinery, and I knew those guys. So
Hmm.
and we
Hmm.
put out a 25th anniversary of that. Put out all the Trauma just digitally though. So we stopped making physical CDs in about 2006 after Tower Records went under. So we didn't see the reason we needed to put
Oh.
records in stores anymore because they're all gone. So I mean, our accounts, we used to sell to Tower, Hot Topic, and Jellies over there,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Well,
they're all
and then I know you have a underwater. Did you talk about that yet? Underwater.
no Underwater
Oh,
Pilots. No, they're kind of on a Depeche Mode, more of a synth pop side. So we actually put out a couple records of theirs. We did an exclusive remix that's really good with Dope Stars Inc. called "Loud and Clear." That's a really great song. And yeah, they put out a couple of synth pop records because we want to do something in that direction. So they were on Repo Records. I think it's it's one of the bands. I think Instinct Confidence, or I think that's their label. So yeah,
yeah.
they've done okay. And then we did some band called Paracont, which was a opening band for P&E. We put out a couple of their albums, which are really nice. I don't know if you listen to Zoom In. That's a really good record. We actually put that out as a uh, P&E versus Paracont. So we've done most of these all exclusive since 2006. We've all these all been like, digital exclusive only because, and then like I said, we've gone back to like our vault and just, the beauty, I guess the beauty of digital is, you don't have to manufacture anything and the cost, there isn't that much cost other than the recording. So we
Yeah.
have a
Good
bunch of
stuff.
stuff in the vault that we could release digitally. So that's kind of what we've been doing, reissuing stuff. We did a best of Girls Under Glass 7 with an exclusive instrumental track. We have released another side project of the Fair Sex, the guy who's in Rascal, who's in Rotor Sound. I don't know if you've played that
Yes.
band at all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, his side project 1 a.m. So we put that out earlier this year. So, and then
Mm.
another Fair Sex side project called Nice Gods Bleed. We put that out. So mostly reissuing stuff, and
Mm.
try to just do a couple releases a year, and then let the distribution side pay the bills. But we try to if we found stuff that, other things that we believed in. It's a lot of people don't want to make music anymore because, they can't make a living. That's the problem when, like I said, when, record labels make money when music sells. So, and then, Spotify's kind of crushed things as well on that end. We don't work with them because of their business model of
Yeah, well,
basically,
I'm so glad that you're still doing this, and I'm gonna put the link to everything if people want to check out your music and the bands that you just mentioned. This amazing, they're all great bands, really. And vanrichter.net, and I'll put that link in the bottom of the page.
appreciate
Now,
it.
now you have a very special, and we're gonna talk more about this as we get closer. But you have a very special Halloween instrumental album coming out, right?
Yeah,
Pretty
exactly.
soon.
We're going to put that out. Actually, if people go to Discogs, we've already posted the track list on that. We haven't posted it on our website or put it up on Bandcamp or
Mm.
sent it to iTunes yet. We're going to wait till October to do that. But yes, we did like all our favorite tracks from Testify, Fair Sex, Peony, Girls Under Glass, DHI, Seal Wolf, and Paracon and Trauma. We put all those on and Underwater Pilots. We put all those in, did some instrumental versions of those songs, and they really came out well. So all the artwork's done, all the track list is up. So if you go to the Van Richter profile on Discogs, you'll see we posted the track list and everything, but we haven't released the record. So we're gonna do that. And Halloween's kind of our bread and butter.
So
So
is this like they're all danceable?
yeah, well, I
Dance-
mean,
Yeah.
some of it's danceable. I mean, some of the stuff is more soundscape, like Seal
Okay.
Wolf and Trauma. But yeah, there's some dance tracks on there, so it's a
Wow.
good
Can't wait.
it's a good mix. So, and we just highlighted the track. I listened to everything after all the vocals were stripped out to see which ones really sounded good, and a couple
So
titles.
so my question is, what made you want to do an instrumental release?
I don't know. I've talked to some other musicians, and it's not that it's trendy. I mean, people told me, well, you should consider doing an instrumental record. So people
Something
seem to,
different, huh?
yeah. So
Yeah.
people seem to want that. So
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
did, I
I
did, I,
can't
we did
wait.
the, we did the first instrumental track when we put the bitter end out on the Girls Under Glass 7 best of record. And then I said, okay, well, maybe that sounds good. So maybe we should just do the whole catalog. So and I was trying to come up with some creative ideas for Halloween. So I thought, and
Mhm.
we had someone do some really nice artwork. So it's
Okay, well, I can't
that was
wait. I can't wait
yeah.
to. So that it's not released yet, right?
No, no, it's not.
Okay. So nobody has heard the tracks yet.
Well, I have.
Oh, besides you. Okay. So what is the date of the release, do you think?
Well, we're gonna do it like the week of Halloween. So
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, the week of Halloween. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
we'll maybe do a teaser track earlier. I don't know. I haven't figured all that out yet. We
Okay.
talked about maybe doing something with your ball over there in Hawaii. So
Yeah, the Hawaii Horror Ball is October
yeah,
10th.
yeah,
If anybody want to check that out, let me make sure I'm giving the right date here. Yeah, October 10th. Yeah, so yeah, so it's going to be an awesome night. But and we're looking forward to the release of the Halloween instrumental
yeah.
album
We definitely, we
from the
love
Van
doing
Richter
stuff in
label.
Hawaii. Like I said, I used to do the Wave, Pink Cadillac, the
I
Dungeon,
know.
Stuff Club.
Amazing is that. Yeah,
And,
so we were just talking about the sub club. This is the very early sub club that was that it actually had the opening night was the night of the cult when the cult
yeah,
played the Sheraton. And I was there, and everybody was there. Everybody was there, and they go, "Oh, where are you going tonight?" "Oh, we're going to the sub club." And I go, "Yeah, let's go to the sub club." Little hole in the wall
yep.
on the
The
Hood Street.
Waikiki, yeah,
Yeah, it's a little hole in the wall where you can hear like back in the day the Jesus and Mary Chain Psycho Candy, right? Like
yeah.
that
You
was
played all the old
my
Wax Track stuff because I gave John some, but he was playing all that. Even they
yeah,
had screw
John.
stuff, and
Right.
yeah, great
Yeah,
guy.
I know that, and then of course Pink Cadillac, and you went to Pink Cadillac, right? Pink
Yeah,
Cadillac.
we did some. I think I gave away some Girls Under Glass stuff a lot, like in 2004 there. It
Wow,
was still, yeah, and did stuff with the Wave.
and the Wave.
Yeah, yeah, those were
That's
great.
so amazing.
And the
Oh.
Dungeon with Courtney, I did some stuff with him.
Yeah, so you're coming back to Hawaii to live here eventually, when
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so well, thank you for choosing Hawaii. Well, I think yeah, I was a big, I love the wave, and it's not there anymore, of course. Like the pink Cadillac used to have a Cadillac sticking outside the club, right? And then it was
Yeah.
facing this way. But what's still there is 7-Eleven.
And
7-Eleven
there used to
where
be a little head shop next to the wave. Is that gone too? There used to be like a little head shop or something next to the wave.
so what was next to the wave was so I have a friend named Kathy, and I think she owned like a lingerie or
Mm.
something right outside the wave.
Yeah, yeah. There was some place right next to the wave. It was like a head
There's
shop or
no, everything is gone. That whole area by the wave is like a condominium now.
that's sad.
Yeah, so it's not there anymore. But that the walkway's still there
Oh, great.
where
Yeah,
everybody passed
maybe you
out.
should bring it. Maybe you should bring it back. I was thinking one thing that they
I
should do
wish.
in Hawaii. I don't, because we were talking about doing giveaways for your event, and I was saying, well, because I was thinking to myself, well, the last thing I gave away physical CDs was some gothic cruise out of Florida. I said they should do something like that in Hawaii because I know those things are successful. At
I
least
know, I
I,
know.
I DJ'd on one of these in San Diego like a long time ago. So I want you to just rent a boat and
Well, you know what? When you come back here, you can DJ. I think that'd be great. So
I'll
you
do a
play in
set.
industrial music.
Yeah, I come out of retirement once in a while. I did one in the Vampire Bazaar
All
in Long
right.
Beach. So
All right. Yeah, let's
my
plan
DJ
that down the
name is
road.
the Ripper. Yeah, I'll do a set. Everyone plays off laptops these days, so
Yeah, well, like I mentioned, there's two bands, Raised in Black and Soil and Eclipse, right?
yeah, I know those
And
guys.
yeah, and I interviewed both of these guys. So yeah, I love them both. So Romel, I know he's from here, so he comes back. I don't know how often, but yeah, and of course Soil and Eclipse. They're not together anymore, but their music will forever be dear to my heart. And they started here in Hawaii. I think they were military at that time.
Wow.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
so it's great. I mean, Hawaii is. I mean, we're still continuing the music, right? We're still continuing the scene.
What
So
happened to Radio Free Music Center? I used to
yeah,
work with those
Radio
guys.
Free. Yeah, yeah, those guys. But I know you did mention Jellies, and
Yeah.
Jellies has transformed into many different. So now there's a new one. It's called Uh, Mad Hatter Records. But there is something going on Sunday. But I think by the time this is released, it's going to be over already. But yeah, there's a book called Loco and Rest. They're having a book signing this Sunday. But anyway, I'm so glad that we connected, Paul. You know, Okay, before I know we got one more to talk about the legendary John Fryer,
Yeah.
and your collaboration with him. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that. John has been here. He played for my Hawaii Horror Ball. He DJ there. His own. He actually curated that set. He said, I made this specifically for the Horror Ball, the Hawaii Horror Ball. And so it was a great set. Yeah, total great
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I've known him for like 10 years. So, no, no longer than that. God, 12 years. So yeah, I've been working on a movie for a long time, and he read the script and he wanted to score the movie. So he's been attached for a long time, and finally we're getting some movement now because I've got a director, and now we're out packaging it with some A-list talent. So hopefully we're going to get it done. I've been working on the movie probably as long as my label, so
Yeah.
I think it's more of a
Uh,
bucket list, personal thing because it was stuff that happened to me when I was growing up. So it's gonna a dark drama character piece. So shocker, people put out, angry industrial music have, hard lives when they're so when they're growing up. So yeah, so we've John's been attached for a while, and we've been it's been read by studios, and they told us to package it with talent. So I finally got a director and
mm,
an A-list director. So now we're, like I said, we're trying to get some talent, some actors, and then we're going to go back and get it financed, and then hopefully it'll be out in the theaters in 2 to 3 years. Be an art house type movie, music driven, of course. but so that's why John's involved. And then also I'm going to hopefully be able to use some of the music from my label if depending on what studio picks it up. So that's kind
Yeah.
of been the
Yeah,
focus.
I can't wait. And
It's called The Hurting. It's called The Hurting, by the
the
way.
hurting.
Yeah,
Oh, the
like the old
hurting.
Tears for like the Tears for Fears song.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God.
That was my inspiration to write the script.
I love that. That's my favorite album by Tears for Fears.
Oh,
The
that's yeah,
hurting.
that is icon. That's an iconic record. Every
I know,
song on that
totally
record.
iconic. Totally
Yeah,
iconic. I still play it. And
yeah.
speaking John, I don't know if he's gonna watch. He's probably gonna.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do a shout out to John Fryer. He's one of my favorite people. I swear
yeah.
to God, he really is.
He texted me the other day, so I'll let him know I was on your show, and
Yeah, tell him I'm gonna
hopefully,
tag him. Yeah, he doesn't go on Facebook that often, but he did at one point. But I
oh,
totally miss him.
if this when this rebroadcasts, when you send me the link, I'll send it to him so he can watch the interview and everything.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I
that
love John. I met
yeah,
him in San Francisco many years ago in the Cat Club. And I go, "You're John Fryer from this Mortal Coil in 4 AD?"
yeah, Pretty Hate Machine. He was the sound of Pretty Hate Machine, pretty
I
much.
know, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a, so yeah,
So many great tracks. I mean, a lot of people may not even recognize who was the man behind it, but he was the guy. Yeah, he was
I
totally
remember anything that
producer.
40 that had his name on, I was buying when I was, back
Yeah.
in my 20s. I'd see his name on anything, Clan of Zymox. I go, this is going to be good.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, yeah, John's a great guy, and yeah, he stuck with me through this whole thing. So, I definitely want him to score my movie. So, that's what we're working on now. My director, we're out. Like I said, we're going to in the next 2 to 6 months, we're going to try to get it all packaged and then get it in to the studio for financing, and then get into production, which will probably be another 2 years. So hopefully, in 3 years, it'll be in the theaters. I mean, we're talking a $10 to $20 million budget, so this is not. It's going to be a pretty significant movie. So, but
Well,
I've been wanting to tell my story for a long time, but I just I started in '93. I decided, but I didn't think it was going to take me 30 years to get it told. And
well,
back in the early days, you could sell a script to Hollywood. Now they just want you to have the thing packaged. But I get it because they're investing money. So
you have to talk to us about that as you get closer to the release of that film with John. I think it'd be great to have you back on the show and that to talk about that. But yeah.
well, hopefully they'll give me a publicist at that point.
Oh, well, Paul, I appreciate you coming on the show. Van Richter label. I'll put the link to your page, and then we'll talk maybe as we get closer to your Halloween release of the instrumental, we can get you back on just to talk about it as it comes closer to the release.
Yeah, and I'd love to do something with your Halloween ball, and definitely support everything that goes on in Hawaii. So
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, yeah. And the next time you're back in town, let me know. Yeah.
absolutely, I will definitely know when I'm flying in. Hopefully sometime this year, I'm open.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The sooner the better. All right. Well, thank you, Paul Van Richter.
All right,
Richter
mahalo.
label. Dark Mahalo.
Yes.